Yo. Welcome back to Tremonti and Friends Boxing. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we gonna get right into it. Do y'all think Adrien Broner will end up in the Boxing Hall of Fame? The question is not necessarily, do you think he's a Hall of Famer? Most people would err to the side of probably not. But do you think he will get into the Boxing Hall of Fame? In the Boxing Hall of Fame, in really any sport's Hall of Fame, where they etch their legends in stone, there are a lot of people who don't belong in the Hall of Fame. Whether that's basketball, football, tennis, baseball, you name it. There are people there who don't belong there. Adrien Broner is a 4-division champion. He was a monster at 135. I can imagine him today at 135, like in his prime. I think he would do some damage there. But do y'all think Adrien, the problem Broner, will get into the Hall of Fame? Personal feelings aside about how y'all feel about him as a person, in the ring, he dared to be great. You know, the fight that derailed his career was the Marcos Maidana fight. And Adrien Broner should not have fought at 147 at that time to fight Maidana, especially Maidana's style. He would have did well. Remember when Adrien Broner fought Paulie Malignaggi for the title? He ended up beating him, I believe, by split decision, if I can remember correctly. If Adrien Broner would have fought another boxer at 147, somebody like that in his prime, he would have had a better shot. But someone as aggressive as Marcos Maidana, it obviously didn't bode well for Broner. One interesting fact about Adrien Broner, he's never been stopped. Can't say that about a lot of fighters. He's never been stopped. As crazy as Adrien may come off, he's never been stopped in a ring. The true definition of a dog. You might knock him down, but he's going to finish the fight. He had a title at 130, 135, 140, 147. Paulie Malignaggi was one of his higher profile wins. He has some notable losses, though. He recently lost to Blair Cobbs. Broner shouldn't have lost to Blair Cobbs. Blair Cobbs can fight, but he shouldn't have lost to Blair Cobbs. He lost to Marcos Maidana. I don't know how Adrien Broner got the Pacquiao fight. I think it's like just a PBC thing. Not to say that he was undeserving, because I don't know the inner workings of PBC. But to get a Pacquiao fight, and then for him not to really throw any punches in the fight, him to just be apprehensive with his offense and look the pot shot, that's not how he should have fought Pacquiao, in my opinion. Pacquiao ended up winning the fight by decision, but Broner had a chance to win the fight. That was his opportunity to really, at least, I wouldn't say boast himself in the superstardom, but to let people know, hey, I belong with not necessarily the legends, but with these upper tier, boxers. And I think he just blew the opportunity. He lost to Sean Porter. I remember watching the Sean Porter fight, and he knocked Sean Porter down. Was it the 11th round or 12th round? He knocked him down. And I was like, it's always glimpses of great things that Adrien can do. But, he's his own worst enemy. He's admitted to not taking training camp seriously. And training camp is really the fight. Like, you get there, but if you're not prepared on fight night, if you haven't had an intense training camp, if you haven't had great sparring, it's going to show. And a lot of times it did show. I remember Adrien Broner had a draw with Vargas. He beat a couple of people, but his losses are more notable in his career. And that just because when he was at 130, he was at 135, he looked unbeatable in my eyes. He looked unbeatable. And Broner is not a big guy, so I think 140 was probably his max. And once he went to 147, it's like, that's probably too much. Them boys get big. And his frame isn't big, So I think do I think Adrien gets into the Hall of Fame? I'm borderline. Not do I think he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, but do I think they'll let him in? Outside of the ring stuff matters too. So if you add that in, probably not. But, He's a 4 division champ, man. There's a lot of Hall of Famers who didn't necessarily dominate, and they only fought in one division, and they went into the Hall of Fame. So I don't know. I'm on the fence. I'd probably say no, but I want to know what y'all think. Do y'all think he gets in? What do y'all think of Adrien Broner's career? I'm not going to get into the admitted substance abuse from Adrien and all that stuff because it's not really my business, and it's pretty public, honestly. But when he was fighting in the ring, really, the first half of Adrien's career, he used to throw punches. He used to throw combinations. He had decent defense. He had good footwork. And as he got older and he started taking boxing less seriously, because the losses get to people like Adrien. He's not really used to just losing like that. So when he started losing and people started seeing him for like, this guy may not be as great as he says he is. And he was cocky. He was pretty, arrogant and stuff. That left a bad taste in people's mouths, especially, boxing fans and the casual viewer. And so on the biggest stage, in my opinion, which wasn't the Maidana fight, it was a Pacquiao fight. You're fighting a legend. Even if he would have lost, if he would have gave a valiant effort, people would have been like, he lost to Pacquiao. A lot of people lose to Pacquiao. It's no big deal. At least put up a fight, and he didn't. I think that was the point where people kind of gave up on him. Like, yeah, we're done with him. He's not throwing any punches at all. The craziest thing was at the end of the Pacquiao fight, he thought he won the fight. That's what people remember from the Pacquiao fight. Not that he didn't really throw punches. We all know he doesn't have a great output. But in the end, he ran to the corner and got up on the ropes like he won. Adrien Broner is one of those people. He's so talented. At least he was. He was so talented. He had all the resources possible. Him and Floyd Mayweather were close. He had access to gyms. You had arguably the greatest boxer, pure boxer ever on your side. You had good trainers. You had people looking out for you. There were people in interviews. I seen Andre Ward in interviews a while ago. Like, hey, I'm here if Adrien needs me. There are people always trying to help him, but we are more times than not our own worst enemy. And Adrien's out of the ring antics and then his lack of volume in the ring contributed to the perception that he doesn't even have the ability to reach a top tier status in boxing. He was fast. He was agile. He was smart. He had a lot of grit. People don't give him. Whenever he got knocked down, he got up. He got a lot of grit. But his IQ, both in the ring and outside of the ring, and how his career was managed, has a lot left to be desired. Adrien Broner, I believe, is 35, 36 years old now. I have no idea what he's going to do. He always has these, I'm going to come back. I'm changing my life for boxing. I'm going to come back. And he comes back in a fight. He doesn't throw a lot of punches, and we resort back to how we previously thought of him, which, although he is a 4-division champion, although he did have a lot of high highs in his career, right now, if you reflect on his career, is it a Hall of Fame career? Do you think he wasted a lot of potential? Many of us will say, yeah, it's wasted potential. But I think if Adrien Broner were in this era of boxing, in his prime, he would thrive, especially if he was at 135, 140, because he wasn't afraid to fight people who were better than him. And that's a lot. I will take that from Adrien Broner's career. It's easy to point out the negatives about his career because they're there in front of us. But he fought people he probably couldn't beat just to have it on his record. Like, I mean, I'm a C. If you think you're better than me, I'm a C. And his attitude and his confidence, I liked it, but his pride got in the way. So y'all let me know what y'all think of Adrien Broner's career. Again, 4-division champ. Some bad losses on his career. Not a lot of high punch output. But he was a highlight reel. Top 5 ever when it comes to, promoting and press conferences. He always talked trash, and he did his best to back it up, but a lot of times he just fell short. Is he a Hall of Famer? Y'all let me know. Please subscribe to the channel, and I'll get with y'all soon. Peace.